got cut off midway, so this is part two of the Eric Bishop interview. I'm waiting for Eric to come back on, and then we will do part two. So, I'm sorry to those who didn't hear what I was saying before, but I'm gonna wait for Eric to come back on. And there's Eric. I'm gonna pin you in, Eric. Okay, part two. Yay, let's do it again. All right.
Part two.
So
Part two,
as I was
the
saying,
kissing Barry story. So
yes. Oh my God, I gotta hear about Barry. Oh my God, I'm so jealous right now.
honestly, I'm trying to remember the details now, which is horrible to say. How did it happen? But so I'm pretty sure we were backstage in Cardiff. Cardiff was a real weird venue.
Mhm.
We ended up like hanging out. Barry is such a fun person to spend time with. And obviously you've got to meet him and the whole band. The one thing I can say is how you think they are is exactly how you would want. I mean, they're just so down to earth. They're so cool with everybody. Sorry, some dudes are walking by and giving me a weird look. Probably 'cause I'm sitting in the parking lot with lights on and you know.
Yo, I'd give him a thumbs up. What's up, buddy?
So as long as he doesn't come running back. If so, I might move my car. We'll see. I think we're okay. But no, they're just. I didn't know what to expect when I first met the band because I'd gone to a bunch of concerts.
Mhm.
I've listened to a lot of music, but I didn't really know any well-known musicians, and they were just normal guys, and I was surprised by
Yeah.
that. I definitely spent the most time with Barry and Eric. Talked to Zach a bunch. I had dinner one time with Brent before the show. It was the whole crew was there and everything. So, but but no. So we were in Cardiff, and Barry's the one that after the show ends and he gets a shower or whatever, he'll just chill and hang out with whoever's there, and he'll normally always say, "Hey, you want a beer?" So, and I'll stay behind for a couple hours backstage just to hang out because how often you get to hang out with normal people that happen to be rock stars.
Exactly.
Pretty cool experience. So we were having some beers in Cardiff, Wales, and there was maybe about 5 or 6 of us backstage, kind of in this hallway, kind of this. There wasn't a lot of good rooms in that particular venue, um, and so I think one of the girls was leaving and went to go give him a hug and kiss goodbye, just on the cheek or whatever. And I'm like, what? I don't get, I don't no kiss on this end or something. And he kind of made some comment of like, you wouldn't kiss me or something. So I went up and he's got, the Planet Zero tattoo on his neck. So I went
Yeah.
up and hugged him and kissed his Planet Zero tattoo. And of course, Barry being Barry, and I mean, he's a great guy, but he pushes me away like,
Oh
what are you doing?
my God.
And we joked about it. Well, then the end of the night, he comes up and kisses my neck. So it was the funniest thing. It was just one of those fun experiences. But I had dinner with him. I had Thanksgiving dinner with Barry. Actually, him, me, and John went out to an Italian restaurant Thanksgiving night in Cardiff, Wales. That was a couple days before the show. I was there a few days early with them. But yeah, it was just again normal everyday guys. I mean, that's kind of the cool thing. And sometimes you kind of meet your heroes or meet people like that, and they don't live up to what your expectations are in your head.
Right.
And fortunately, with them, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
And I also get it too. There's some people that are just on different levels.
Right.
That use Michael Jackson example. I mean, Michael Jackson would travel somewhere and he'd have like hundreds or thousands of people surround his hotels
Yep.
and
Oh
just
yeah.
chant for him and stuff. Well, someone like that, from a safety standpoint, almost can't have anyone in his inner circle, just because of that. So I think that would be a miserable way of being famous, honestly.
Yeah.
I think Shinedown in that regard has a really good gig because they're incredibly musicians. Their fans are so loyal to them, but they can actually walk down the street without getting at least mobbed.
Yeah.
And I think some of the guys could walk down the street and not get noticed, not get recognized. Barry's the exception, I always say. Barry
Yeah.
just stands out. You'd
Yeah.
notice Barry if he was just walking down the street and you didn't know who he was. You'd probably be like, "Who is that? Who is?"
Yeah.
You'd probably think he's got to be a musician, probably a drummer.
Yeah, I know, right? He's got that drummer look.
He does have that drummer look, but yeah, just terrific. And then I got another story for you. I don't think I've shared this one in podcast yet. So we were at the Dallas show, and again, I was fortunate where I was involved in doo-doo. I got to do everything but except right before the band leaves the dressing room. I wasn't in the dressing room right before. That's kind of their inner time of being together, and John's in there, and so tour managers in there. So it's like 5 people. That's it, 6 people. So I was outside in the hall just kind of waiting, and so they came out, and I think Zach and Barry kind of went ahead of everybody, and then John was kind of in front, and then Brent and Eric were behind John, and then I was behind them. And so I made some stupid comment of like, John's got the front, I've got the rear, some regard to that. And so Brent then turns around and he's like, "But who's got the best behind between him and Eric?" And so I was like, and they all started laughing. I was like, "I ain't touching that one. I ain't looking at your guys' asses." So, but it was one of the, again, I thought it was one of those memories that popped up after the fact. And I was just like, what a fun, cool experience to just be able to have that banter. And then before the shows start, what no one gets to see behind the stage is they're all kind of huddled in. The guys might be saying a prayer or just having a quiet moment, and then they kind of go through the crew and they'll do fist bumps and all these kind of iterations of just kind of getting pumped up for the show. And I even got pulled into that for a few shows as just a fly on the wall, which was just a pretty incredible experience.
Yeah.
So it helped me, but there was a writing aspect to it. I was really trying to understand how it worked for a dynamic, so that and I already have written a chapter about it in a future book, when I incorporate experiences like that in books, I can draw off those real experiences of getting to do those really cool things and have those experiences with the band. So
that is awesome. I'm like jealous actually because that's really cool. Like I've met bands backstage before, but never Shinedown. They were at a bar when I met them, but half of Shinedown. But one of my fondest concert experiences goes back to I think it was 2008 or 2009. The band Our Last Night. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
No.
Okay. They're a band. They're still a band. They're like a punk heavy metal. Well, not heavy metal, but like they cover songs. They're not a cover band because they have their own songs, but they've been covering a lot of songs lately. Like they did Astronaut in the Ocean by I forgot his name. The young wolf guy. He's a Greek Australian. He's really good. Did Ed Sheeran, Shape of You. They did cover songs, but they're really good. I got to see them for free. The Zoomies, the skating store, they used to do what's called the couch tour because they used to have like this couch and have all skaters sit on it. So they did a tour about it. And the second time I went was Alkaline Trio and Our Last Night. Our Last Night took the time to hang with fans. They were interactive. I got their autograph. I still have it actually. They were just really, really into their fans.
Yeah.
They listened to their fans. This was the first time I've ever heard of them. So for me to meet a band not knowing who the hell they were, I'm like, yeah, can I have your autograph? I don't know you, but sure. Right. So it's cool. When they hit the stage, the singer looked like he was 13. I'm not even kidding you. He was such a young kid. I remember I wore my Bad Religion shirt. So they were on stage, and the singer decides to take a big swig of water and spit it on the crowd. And some water got on me. And these chicks are like attacking me. I'm like, it's water. Like, what the hell?
Oh, my goodness.
But, like, they were great. And then Alkaline Trio sucked. They sucked on a fan base level
Mm,
because they were supposed to meet up with fans after they were done with their set,
right.
but their singer was like, well, we were supposed to hang with you, but we got to go home and pack because we're going on vacation, and then
Mm,
we got a plane to catch, so bye. And then they just left. It's
yeah.
like your fans were anticipating on meeting you, and now you're just gonna stand them all up.
Right.
That's really messed up. I hate bands like that. Another band, well, I saw them live, but another band, their front man likes to run his mouth. And it's not Trapped. Chris Brown, I hate Trapped. I can't stand them.
Mm,
I got into an argument with Trapped. If you want to hear that story, I don't mind telling you. But so basically what happened was this was online.
mm,
Chris Brown started attacking one of their fans.
okay.
Their fans are like, I'm such a huge fan, blah blah blah. I'm having trouble getting tickets to the show because I'm trying to save up money and all this stuff. And then he's like, yeah, well, I'll make more money than you. In 2 shows, I'll make more money than you will in your entire life. It's like, come on, really?
Yeah.
So I tried standing up for this fan. I'm like, yo, Brown, you want to attack someone? Come on, come at me. He's like, who the fuck do you think you are? I'm like, I'm better than you at this point. That's for sure. So I started a little, I guess tag teaming because other fans jumped in with me. But the funniest part of that was when Chris Brown told me that I'm upset because I'm on my knees and my brother's not home yet. That's what he decided to say to me. Being like he's basically saying I'm upset because I don't have my brother's dick in
Yeah.
So and I come back at him and I'm like, yeah, well, he's too busy at your mom's right now. And that's where it ends. I had to defend this person because Chris Brown was such an asshole to them that I couldn't let this happen.
Yeah.
If I see it happen, I can.
It comes back to one of those things of that most of us were taught as a kid. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So,
Right.
and the artist needs to really stick to that of, you know what, even if some of your fans, as long as it's not physical, take the verbal altercations and just take the high road.
Exactly.
There's no, you don't win by getting in an argument with people. You see that in limited ways of like with authors on like negative book reviews and stuff like that, where people post stuff. Or people might email authors and kind of dog them sometimes and say stuff. And I've not really experienced it. I've had some negative reviews, I guess, but I look at it and go, whatever. You know what? It doesn't, I don't think about it. It doesn't cross my mind. If I see it, I just go, I always tell people if they have something negative to say, it's like, go write a book, go write a better book. Because very few people ever write books. I know people talk about writing books, but in the scheme of the billions of people on planet Earth, and it's not a high percentage that's writing books. It's like, okay, if you can do it better, go do it better. But I've never written a negative review. I've not left reviews because I thought the book sucked. But I would never say that to the author. And same thing with a musician. I would never, dog a musician for the art they created, even if I don't like it. Hey, if I don't like it, I don't have to buy it. I don't have to support them, but I don't have to be negative towards them either. So,
well, that kind of changed for me when I saw the New York Mets play one time. Mm-hmm. Oh my God! Okay, so I'm a huge Mets fan. I have a Mets tattoo. I'm diehard Mets. I'll watch any baseball team, but I'm a diehard Mets fan. So, we were at a baseball game and we were at what they call the Pepsi porch, which is like high rise kind of thing, but not nosebleeds. It was like a special section, like
Pepsi. Shea or Citi Field?
Citi Field.
Okay, I've been to Citi Field. It's been a few years, but okay.
Yeah. So, God, I miss Shea Stadium though. Anyway, so
I saw a game there too. Actually, I've never been to Yankee Stadium. I've driven by it, but I've seen a couple Mets games at the different stadiums. So
yeah. Oh yeah, they still have Shea Bridge. Don't worry, they kept that in there. Good. You walk over it. I mean, it's like above you now.
Yeah,
it's awesome. But so this picture for the Mets isn't a picture anymore because this was years ago. This was when my dad was alive. My dad died in 2014, so this was way before then. So this pitcher, he's walking everybody. He's throwing balls outside of the strike zone, and all bases got loaded 3 different times because so he was just a bad pitcher. So May, being the idiot, decided to go really loud. His name was Jason Isringhausen. I remember this. My mom still makes fun of me for this one. I yelled at the top of my lungs from the Pepsi porch. I go, "You suck, Isringhausen!" like so loud. And I'm a Mets fan. And I said that. I felt so bad. I don't know if he heard me, but I was so mad. I was so pissed. Oh my God, I was so mad. Just like game 1 of the NLCS.
Yeah.
When they got destroyed 9-0. Oh my God. The whole thing was they pulled the pitcher early. But the whole thing that really upset me was I knew who was pitching the day before. And I was like, no, they got to change the pitching rotation. They got to put someone else in. They're almost guaranteed to lose. And everyone's like, oh, give this pitcher a chance. But what they didn't understand was this pitcher hurt himself. He was on the DL all season. And then they decided to activate him for postseason. No, you don't do that. Oh, my God. I was so mad. So mad that they lost 9-0. They got shut out 9-0. But then they won the second game. I knew that they would win. But I'm just like, I scream at the TV watching baseball games. I'm into it. My dad told me everything I know about baseball, and I'm also a huge hockey fan. I stick with the Metropolitan team, so obviously I'm a New York Islanders fan. They're doing fairly well. They had their first major win when they beat the Colorado Avalanche 6-2. Actually, on the same day, the Mets won 7-3. So Mets are on tonight. So I'm excited about that.
I used to go to Whaler games. Hartford when the Hartford had the Whalers. That was about the extent of last time. I've been to hockey games since then, but the last I've been to minor league. I think that was my last professional hockey. My next door neighbor had season tickets, so we'd go, and she had really good tickets too. So she'd call me at like, I don't know, the game starts at 7. She'd call me at like 6. Hey, Ken doesn't want to go. Do you want to go to the Whalers game? And I'd be like, heck, I was a 15-year-old kid. I'm like, heck yeah, I want to go to the Whalers game. They used to let her bring in a bag. She'd bring in snacks and give people snacks, and we'd eat like kings up in the right behind the goal, and it was a fun experience. So.
Oh my God, Hartford Whalers! Holy, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
I'm dating myself by saying the Hartford Whalers. They've been in Raleigh for 20 plus years now. So I think it's Raleigh. So the Hurricane, is that what they are?
Yes, Carolina Hurricanes are still there.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, on the Hurricanes, Ovechkin is doing very well. I think he's going to bypass a lot of Gretzky's records, but it's either him or Connor McDavid of the Oilers, because that whole season, that series last year, last like hockey season, with the Panthers and the Oilers. Oh my God, that was such an incredible series. I watched it from game 1. Oilers forced to game 7, which was I love when teams do that. I do, because it shows that both teams deserve to be where they are when they force.
I agree.
So they were down 3-0, the Oilers, and they won that 4th game 8-1. 8-1. Oh my God! And then they won the next game 3-0, and then they forced to game 7. They lost the Stanley Cup. The Panthers won 1-0. It was a great game, though. It really was. Connor McDavid, man, he's on fire. He's going places. He definitely is.
You're much more diehard than I am. I think I stopped sports for a while when I was married. My wife wasn't interested in it, and I've gotten back into it the last couple of years. But it's just everything outside of writing and kids and travel is just. It fits in a spot when I have time for it. So, movies, television, any of that. It's like if I have the time for it, I might catch some stuff. Sports, Sunday Night Football I'll watch Sunday Night Football. I like the Manning cast when I can watch that on Mondays, but I got rid of I got rid of my satellite last year, so every now and then the Manning Cast is on ESPN Plus, which I just get part of my like package for my phone or something. So, um, but I like going to games more than I like baseball. I like minor league baseball games. I go to a lot of Greenville has the Red Sox affiliate team. The Greenville Drive is tied to the Red Sox farm team, so I go to the games probably about once a month. See a minor league game, and then I've been to see the Braves. I've been to the Braves a couple times the last few years, so I've got to see some MLB games. But yeah, just when I can squeeze in sports. But yeah, just what I told people years ago, and really what was true for me was to write the book. Write the first book was I had to give something up.
Yeah.
And at that time of life, I was married. I had two little kids. They were really little at the time. The one thing I could sacrifice and get rid of without any kind of loss was sports, television, anything electronic like that. So one day a week I would watch stuff in the evenings because I only wrote after everyone went to bed. When I first was doing it too. So 6 nights a week, I would write from like 10 o'clock at night until I got done. And sometimes that was 1, 2, 3, 4. It wasn't healthy actually to write like that. So I kind of had to refine my process over the years. But that was the one thing that if I catch myself getting back into streaming a bunch of shows, I find that obviously my writing time goes down. Because when I have my kids now, I don't write very often. Maybe in the evenings after they go to sleep, or if they're doing some kind of activity and I got an hour. But most of my writing is just on my kid free time basically. So I have to cram in a lot more. And now with publishing on my own, with having my own publishing imprint, that takes up a lot of time. Marketing, all the hiring editors, hiring cover designers, coming up with concepts for all that. That's where I find that the writing time just kind of gets shrinking sometimes. And that's the part I love to do the most. But sometimes it's the hardest thing. So I'm not of the mindset, or I don't have not the discipline, I just don't have the ability to, I guess I have to. I just choose not to write every day.
Right.
So I don't think you have to. There's some people that say you have to, and I can start a chapter and put it aside for a month because I do something else. I write a short story. I've been doing some of that recently. And then I can pick that chapter up a month later and just keep going with it. I've just kind of disciplined myself at this point that I can kind of piece it together and still turn out, a quality chapter or quality book. So.
Right. That's good.
It's been
So I have a very, very, okay, so this is the first time I'm interviewing an author, so I'm going to ask it to you.
Sure.
What do you do when you have writer's block?
Never had it.
You've never had writer's block? That's
Never.
awesome.
No.
Oh my God. It's really good.
That doesn't mean I don't have periods where, like I just was saying, that doesn't mean I don't have periods where I don't write, but it's never that I can't write. It's just I've not prioritized it or I've got other things going on. No, there's actually more in my head than I can get out. So I've never, and again, it doesn't mean that everything I've written was worth publishing or was worthy of people reading it. But yeah, I've been fortunate where I've never had that spot where it's like, I don't have anything to say or I don't know how to say it. If anything, I got too much to say and I say too much. So yeah, no, I think when I have that part happen, I'll either stop writing, especially if I hit that spot, but I don't think, I know it's a real thing, so I'm not mitigating that it's not real, but I think a lot of times people put themselves in the position where it becomes a bigger problem than it is. And that's where I view that a lot with life. Bad things happen to people out of your control, absolutely, but most of the time it's how you react to something. So say I do get to a spot where I'm like, man, I just don't know what to say, or I don't know how to write this chapter. I think a lot of times, well, then get out of your head and go do something different. Go for a hike. Go. Two things to me are super creative when I'm in a spot where I'm trying to figure stuff out. Is either go for a walk or a hike or take a shower. Those two things, for whatever reason, can turn the idea or how to finish. It's not that I don't have anything to say in those instances. It's I don't know where to go with things sometimes. Like, man, what direction do I want to take this? I just need to get out of my head for a little bit, take a walk or do something. And as I'm doing that, I typically, the creativity just kind of really flows.
That's awesome though. Like really, like going back to music real quick.
Yeah.
There's a band called Evergreen Terrace. They're heavy metal. And they have an album called Writer's Block because
Okay.
they couldn't, think of lyrics. So they covered a bunch of 90s songs. And
Okay.
it's one of the greatest cover songs. One of the greatest cover song albums I've ever heard. They did The Offspring. They did U2.
Mm-hmm.
They did No Effects. Believe
Okay.
it or not, Dying Degree they did, which is a tough song.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know the band Hum.
I've heard of them before. I'm
They
not familiar. Not top of my head, I can't, but I know I've heard the name before.
they covered the song Stars. They covered Plowed by Sponge. They just did a whole bunch. They did 1,000 Maniacs. It's just an amazing album.
Yeah.
I suggest you listen to it
Okay.
if you haven't. It's awesome. If you're into metal, because they do scream.
I can handle some
My
of it. It depends. Depends what my mood is. So, but I'm pretty diverse in what I listen to.
Yeah. Oh no, that's good. Um, I'm the worst critic when it comes to cover songs.
All right.
The absolute worst critic when it comes
Okay.
to cover. Nobody everyone's like, why? Why would you consider yourself the worst critic? Because I take the song that they're doing. I do take into consideration the band that's covering songs.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're like a heavy metal screaming band covering David Bowie, I am going to take that into consideration. That
Right.
your cover band, you're covering a song. So if you scream in that song, it's the way you do the screaming that matters.
Right.
You got to get all the essences of the actual song into the song that you're covering, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
One of my favorite cover songs of all time happens to be Smith and Myers.
Okay.
Their cover of "Rockin' in the Free World" by Neil Young had me crying because it's just so well put together.
Yeah.
And it's all right. So Neil Young is a well-known, well-respected, iconic, classic artist.
Sure.
Just like his song "Rockin' in the Free World," same thing. So for people to cover that, you have to get the essence of Neil Young's sound,
Right.
and you have to incorporate that. The way that Smith and Myers did, just piano and lyrics, it's just stripped it down to the bare minimum, and it was phenomenal. Phenomenal, just amazing. Another one, Smith and Myers, how Brent hit that high note on Unchained Melody. I don't know how he did that. It must have hurt his diaphragm, definitely. But oh my god, that was incredible.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm all for cover songs, but you got to do it the right way. One of the songs that I'm not a fan of is there's a band out there. It's called Atreyu. Over the years, they gotten a little bit softer. They were heavier back then.
Okay.
So they got softer. I did take that into consideration, but they butchered the hell out of "You Give Love a Bad Name" by Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi. Okay.
Because in the beginning, you know how he goes "shot through the heart and you're to blame, you give love a bad name," and then it starts. Well,
then it kicks in. Yeah.
In this version, Alex, the singer, decides to add "fuck you" in there. And that's not something I'm okay with, because you're not sticking to the original lyrics.
Right. Yeah,
in my
you're
opinion.
definitely doing a pretty big dramatic turn in that one.
Yeah, I'm okay for them to put their own spin on the song, but you got to keep it original. You still got to keep it original.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm the worst critic when it comes to cover songs. I will listen to a cover song and give my honest opinion. Actually, I messaged John about this one because I know he toured with Nickelback back in the day. They covered, they did "Devil Went Down to Georgia" by Charlie Daniels.
Yeah.
And the fiddle part of the song was replaced by guitar.
Okay.
And it was done by a man, David Martones is his name.
Okay.
I would not be surprised if that man's influence was Joe Satriani. He, oh my God, the fiddle is tough in general.
Yeah.
So for you to do that fiddle part with a guitar, it gets massive talent.
Pretty amazing. Yeah.
Spot on. I don't know if you've ever heard that one.
I've not heard that one. I know the original. I know Charlie's obviously version, but
Oh my God, you gotta hear that. Oh my God. It's just amazing. Utterly amazing. It really is. Some songs hit me right here.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I'm the worst critic when it comes to cover songs. I'm like, I'll listen to it, and then if I'm listening to a cover song, I'm a talker. I love talking. Talk about music, sports, I don't care. But when I'm listening to a cover song that I haven't heard, I listen to everything. I listen to the guitar, I listen to the bass, I listen to the vocals, I listen to the drums, I listen to the backgrounds, the crossfade, trebles, all this stuff I listen to. Yes, I'm weird like that, but that's what I do. So
be yourself. There's no weird. You be yourself. Nothing wrong with that.
I actually have a treble right here.
Ah, there you go. That just looks like it was painful. I don't know. That's a spot that.
Honestly, it wasn't like on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the worst. Maybe it was like a 2 and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. So it really wasn't painful. This hurt more.
Okay. I've got none. I've got one I planned that I haven't got yet. I've got a couple ideas of stuff I might do at some point, but I don't know. Every time I think I'm going to get one, I go, that's permanent. I know you can get them removed now, but what do I want that's permanently going to be on my body? So, I don't know.
I have a shine one. I have shine down lyrics on my arm.
Do you?
It says, how about a better version of me? And the only S in that lyric is the shine down S, and I made it blue, my favorite color.
Gotcha.
And then my tribute tattoo to my dad. Okay, so my dad was a big Black Sabbath fan.
Okay.
Huge Black Sabbath. He's the reason why I'm into music, actually. But I couldn't find a tribute tattoo relating to Black Sabbath without it being dark, because they're such a heavy, you know? So I took one of his other favorite bands and his love of physics, and I put those two together.
Okay.
And I came up with that.
Okay.
And on the bottom it says, wish you were here. And the was pointing to Dad. This one existed a year after he died, me and my mom. I got Dad, and my dad's name is James, so my mom got Jimmy across her wrist. But I got Dad. And everybody says, wish you were here isn't the same thing as Dark Side of the Moon. Yes, I know that. I understand that. But Wish You Were Here is also the only song that I can't listen to without crying. Think about my dad. Because it is a tribute song. It's a tribute song to Syd Barrett. There's 2 tribute songs. There's that one, and then Shine On You Crazy Diamond. I could listen to Shine On You Crazy Diamond. I could listen to any Black Sabbath song and be okay with it. Just Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd, I can't do. So, yeah, that's me. You can even ask me questions. I'll answer. I don't care if you got any.
So what's been your most powerful concert? Like the concert that kind of just took you out of yourself almost. What's a show that really resonated with you? Only one though.
Only one. Okay.
And I'll tell you mine after you tell me yours. How's that?
Okay. So mine had to be Music as a Weapon tour. It had to have been the first time I ever moshed. It was an involuntary mosh. I was pushed into the pits and I just went for it. And it was the most amazing thing ever. And ironically, the name of the band and the song was Bodies by Drowning Pool.
Okay.
So I like when Dave Williams died, it kind of affected me, only because like I had that like experience of first time moshing, although it was involuntary. It was I can't hear Drowning Pool with any other singer except for Dave Williams.
Mhm.
So that's me. It was a good time. It was a good time. It was great experience for me. It was, oh my god, 16 maybe 15, 16 at the time.
Mhm.
So it was a while ago. But and then I ended up getting my first bloody nose at the same concert.
There you go.
Yeah, so 2 for 1. It was during Stupefy by Disturbed. They headlined, and I wasn't told the golden rule: if you're on the rail or by the rail, when people raise their hands up, that means you duck. Crowd surf is coming. I didn't know that. Stupid me looked back and got kicked in the face.
I kicked, yeah.
So, so yeah, that's mine.
So mine would be someone actually coming into the crowd as well, and I've told this story before, but a
You're
year
breaking
ago.
up.
Oh, am I breaking up again?
But okay, you're good now.
I'm not moving. I'm sitting in a car, but
No,
who knows? So I saw you. I took my son to see U2 at the Sphere last November, so almost a year ago now. Kind of a birthday present to myself, but mainly because I'm a huge U2 fan and I wanted to see the Sphere. And extremely expensive weekend between flights, hotel, meals, concert tickets, but musically probably the best money I ever spent. Before that, the coolest thing was his first concert was the Joshua Tree 30th anniversary tour. So I took him out to Louisville, Kentucky. He was 10 years old, and I never thought, as big of a fan as I was for my whole life, one of my favorite songs for U2, not favorite, but just one that was up there, was One Tree Hill, which was a song I never thought I'd see live because they had only played it 6 or 7 times in their whole career, because it was written about one of their guys on their crew that took Bono's motorcycle one day and died on the motorcycle.
wow.
And he was a Kiwi. He was from New Zealand. So they went back for his funeral, and there was a tree there, which I think has since come down in the last, I don't know how many years, but there was a tree in a hill called One Tree Hill in that area. So they wrote the song about basically losing this member of the band, member of the crew. And they just so happened that when they did the Joshua Tree tour, they played the album in its entirety, cover to cover, which they didn't even do when the Joshua Tree tour originally happened 30 years before that. So got to hear One Tree Hill and got to hear it with my son. And I kind of had that moment of, it'll never be better than this. Never. There's nothing that's going to top that. And then I took him last year to the Sphere, and we got floor tickets, which was actually the cheaper tickets, honestly, which was weird.
Right.
I think it was like $300 a ticket versus like $800-900 for tickets behind us, which was totally strange. But so we got to the venue very early that morning. You're supposed to not go overnight. People did spend the night because they were giving out numbered bracelets to let you know when you could go in the venue at the time of the show. So we got there about 6:15 in the morning. We were number 86 and 87. So they didn't want you to stick around. So once you got your bracelet, you were told to leave, and they told you to come back at 5:30. The show was at 8, and so we got back at 5:30, and they just numbered the first 10, next 10, and they just let you in. So we ended up being on the floor, center stage, 3 rows back. And the Sphere is just miraculous. It's an amazing venue. It's beyond, the visuals that you see online don't do it any justice, but it's so cool. And then to be seeing U2, and then I don't know, about 7-8 songs in, I can't remember how many songs it was, Bono comes into the crowd for Until the End of the World, and he actually laid back in the crowd, and my son was on my right, so I was on the left. My son was close enough that he could reach out and grab Bono's arm.
Oh,
And
that's so cool.
it was it was one of those moments where he just turns around and he's like, I touched Bono.
Yeah,
And it was just like, I still
right?
remember him doing it. It was one of those moments that I just said to myself, okay, you just topped the memory that of One Tree
Yeah,
Hill.
right.
I didn't think
That's a
that was going
core
to be
memory.
possible.
Listen, if you could make core concert memories, you're doing it right. Really. That's awesome. That's incredible. But yeah, that's one of my core concert memories. The first time I ever moshed and the song I moshed to.
Yeah.
And then
Oh, that's awesome.
Nobody Knows was just the icing on the cake that night. But
It's a story. It's a story you get to tell, and circling back to what we were talking about, in part one of that's how novels get created.
yeah.
Is it's just little stories, and if you do it right, you make a lot of stuff up, but at the same time, you you do put reality in there in some degree. Like I take real stories that happened and I
Hmm.
change them, so you'd never be able to recognize what part was probably real and what not. But I know what part was real and what not.
Exactly.
And so as often as I can put those in a real story, I do.
Right.
And it just kind of gives. I always tell people that I put a little bit of my soul in every novel I write. There's just a little piece of it, and that's part of me. And it's not just the bad words and all the other stuff. There's just little instances in those stories that are part of my life experience, and so that's the beauty. uh, to me, that's the beauty of writing is, and I've said this recently in podcasts, of I know at some point the ride ends.
Right.
And for my day job and what I do for a career, the day I stop working, the evidence that I worked goes away as well, because I don't build houses. I don't do things that leave physical. I work on computers and do budgets and finance and stuff like that. Well, my novels, though, are something that can be left behind for my
Right.
kids, grandkids, future. And they'll always be able to look back and, maybe have something funny to say about dad or grandpa or great grandpa, or maybe be like, well, that was a little risque. And,
Yeah.
what? Grandpa had a, kind of a wicked sense of humor sometimes.
Exactly. My grandpa was a little crazy.
Yeah.
But that's like,
He,
I
he
have
liked
to
female
acknowledge.
assassins that wear French maid outfits. I wonder why. So, hey, I mean,
I have to acknowledge Jill, another person with my name. She's in here. Hello, Jill. As I said to her, it's very awkward to say hi to yourself, but I'm not saying hi to myself. I'm saying hi to another person with the same name as me.
you need to
Spelt the
interview
same.
Jill.
Yeah, I know. Spelt the same way and 4 letters. So
There you
yes, it's a good
go.
thing. You're 4 letters too. Yay! We had this
Yep,
conversation.
we did.
The 4 letter club. Um, but I experience whether you write novels and you experience different things, or you go to a concert and you experience different things. Like there's a first time for everything.
Hmm.
But if you're gonna do it a first time, make it worth it. Like make it like the best that you can be. So that way, if you do it again, you can learn from what you did the first
Sure.
time and make it better the second time and the third time, and all that. So that's what I try to do
Yeah.
when I do my podcasts, actually. The first interview was John, actually.
Okay.
Yes. So John was an incredible human being. He If I were to sum John up in 3 words, it would be humble, genuine, and honest. My second person I interviewed was Claudia King. She is, again, incredible. If I had to sum her up in 3 words, it would be sweet, caring, and respectful. Not that John isn't, but And then I did Anka, which you were a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to sum her up in 3 words, it would be quirky in a good way, artistic, definitely, and motivated. My fourth person I interviewed was this past Saturday, a solo musician.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to sum him up in 3 words, it would be enthusiastic,
Mhm.
attentive, and let me say, because all my guests have been super genuine, but I can't say that for everyone. I'm trying to think of different words for everybody.
Mhm.
So he was definitely, I'll say happy, because he was. You, oh my God, you are,
We gotta wait till it's done,
yeah,
then you
that's
can
true.
judge me. Anka's actually in my next book, so I like to put cameos in, and so I have a scene. I'll break the news here. Her scene takes place actually in an African country.
Okay.
She's there, and I will say that she got her cameo, and her tattoos are brought up in the cameo. I will say that. So it was a fun little it's fun little paragraph I threw her in, and yeah, my
Oh,
two main characters got to interact with her. So
that's so cool. Yeah,
well,
I bet she's thrilled. I would
again, it's one of those things where I'm gonna write a story, I'm gonna put people's names in there. Why not include some real names? And I know for me, just even as a writer, as I'm a reader before I was a writer,
be.
and the first time I got mentioned in a book, like probably, I don't know, 8, 9 years ago. I can't remember now. Maybe the only time. I can't remember if it's happened again. I've been in acknowledgments, but I was actually mentioned in the core part of the book. Um, Man, it made my day. I mean, it was like,
Yeah,
whoa, my name's there. So
yeah,
it's a really cool. It's a cool experience for people to see. And so if I can give that to someone else and get a smile and brings joy to their day, then again, that's kind of like another mission accomplished when it comes to the writing,
right.
because I want
So
people to enjoy it and enjoy the experience.
I'm actually gonna say something here, and I've never said this in any of my previous interviews I did. It's music related.
Yeah.
So I've been a fan of a band that's from Jersey for quite a long time. They are actually today celebrating. Oh my God, I think it's 25 years where they put out their first album, one of their first, in 2001, they released this
Okay.
album. So it's been 23 years. Sorry. And I am a huge fan of them. They helped me through tough times when I went to school.
Hmm.
Um, and I grew up listening to them, and every album that they put out is just great. So, and I'm a promoter. That's what I do. I don't ask for money. I just do promotions because I enjoy it and it's fun.
Hmm.
So I asked them if I could be given the opportunity to promote um, their last release, because it was crowdfunded because they don't have a record label.
Hmm.
So they gave me the okay to do it. So I shared the GoFundMe link via social media.
Hmm.
I promoted the hell out of that link. Oh my God, that link was in every single music group, like multiple times a day.
Right.
So I would tag them. I would put the link. I would tag them, put the link. And, I would keep them updated with what I'm doing, because that's what I do. And when it came time to the album release party, was amazing. I got to go to that. It was, oh my God, amazing. I met all of them. They were great, very friendly people. So I got a T-shirt and two of their albums in the mail. One of them was signed, which I no longer have, and I regret it. But so my friend wanted to borrow it, and then she likes reading things, so she'll read the entire album.
Hmm.
So she goes, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God!" At like 2 a.m. She goes, "Do you read the inside of the album?" And I said, "No, I didn't." She goes, "You have to read it." And I'm like, "All right, later, because I have to go to work soon, so I gotta
Hmm.
sleep." So you know how like each member of the band thanks their person or
Yep.
family, and then in a hall the band thanks, and then
Right.
the names. My name is in there. Oh
Cool.
my God. Oh my God. Like I freaked out. I literally, I took Facebook Messenger and I messaged the guitar player. I'm like, what the fuck did you just do? Oh my god. It was amazing.
Well, and to
Like
them,
literally.
it's not saying that it's not something important. To them, that's not a massive deal to mention people that are helpful to them. But to the
Yeah.
person that's getting on the receptive side of that, it is a big deal. And that's
Oh,
it's for whether it's an artist, whether it's a writer, painter, whatever. Yeah, to kind of have that interaction. And that's the thing that comes down to is you don't know the action you're going to do, what that's going to mean to somebody else always. And just
right.
small things sometimes, you know, can change people's life. It can get them out of a dark spot. I mean, we have so much power within us, so much power, and we mitigate and think we lessen what is actual reality so often. And, you know, sometimes just picking up the phone and calling someone or texting someone or direct messaging them, you don't know. And I found a few times that people have come. Eric Bass was one. I think it was this summer. It wasn't that long ago. I just was doing something one day, and he just kept coming to mind. And there's times I reach out to him more often than others, and then there's other times I don't talk to him for a long time. And I just reached out, said, "Man, I'm thinking about you," and I just tried to encourage him. And I mean, immediately got back with me. He's like, "Dude, you don't know how much I needed that right now." And it's just sometimes I think the universe sends you signals, and if you can keep your head less clouded, maybe you can pick up on that stuff and realize that we're connected. We're interconnected a lot closer than we think we are.
Yeah.
And sometimes those word of encouragements are just what that person needs to get through their day or to keep them on track or help them creatively. You just never know.
Yeah. It's one of the highest of honors. It's the second highest of honors. The first highest of honors will always be me being a mother. Definitely.
I can understand. Yeah.
But it's just I am still, and that they released that in 2015.
Okay.
So I'm still like, oh my god, and like
you still fangirl about it,
yeah,
basically.
yeah,
That's good though.
And along the way, I've had some famous people like my posts on Instagram too. So you know, I have my moments.
Yeah.
And I freak out on the inside. I get excited, and then it's done. Like, I don't have to post it on Facebook that, oh my god, this person did this. No. You have your moment, and then you move on. You know what I mean? But, like, it's your moment, so why do you want to... I mean, there are moments that I do share with everybody, but, like, if you want to have that moment to yourself, don't share it.
Yeah.
No? So,
no,
that's what I try to do.
I think that's fun to have that. I during one of the shows, actually, when Shinedown was playing one time, I went backstage and went back and spent some time with Jacoby Shaddix from Papa Roach. Super amazing guy, great conversation, and we interact a little bit after that on social media, but not much. And then, like, I don't know, 6 months later, all of a sudden, I was checking Instagram, and he started following me. And my son was there that day, and I'm like, dude, look who's following me on Instagram. And it's like... And of course, my son's like, well, you've met him. You hung out with him during a show. And I skipped, like, most of the Shinedown show at that point. And I was just like, because he was getting ready to get on the bus. And so I knew my chance to hang out with him was after their set and during Shinedown. So I think I caught, like, about 3 or 4 Shinedown songs. And then I went back to backstage and just hung out with him for, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes, whatever it was. So I missed the whole middle section and everything. But, again, it was one of those times where it's like, how often do you get to hang out with a rock star?
Yeah.
And it's someone that's super just humble and encouraging. And I mean, yeah, it was pretty cool moment. That, and what was the other? Oh, I met Jelly Roll, who's now blown up into like a massive. So we were backstage. I don't remember which show. It might have been Dallas or Houston. Might have been Houston show. And I got to talk to him, and it was funny. He called me Mr. Bishop, and I was just like, dude, that's my dad. So that's don't call me Mr. Bishop. Eric's fine, but another one of those people that what you see on the screen and social media and the videos, my experience around him was exactly what people see on social media and stuff. Like, super humble guy. And I think really whether people like his music or not, that should be an encouragement to people of, you have someone that made some terrible choices in life, paid for those choices, but there's such thing in life called redemption.
Yep.
And now some choices you make have consequences that redemption is hard to get. You murder someone,
Yeah.
you do whatever, you take your own life. There's some things you don't come back from. But his story, I think, is one that people should look at and go, you can be at your lowest point. That doesn't define you, though. What can happen in your life can be remarkable. And even
Right.
though not everyone will have a remarkable life, it doesn't mean you can't be the one that does. And even remarkable for one person is different to another person. So, for yourself, being a mother might be why you're on planet Earth, is to be a good mom. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be Taylor Swift and be the most, known artist in the world. It's all perspective. It's all your perspective in life. So just be the best. That's what I always tell my kids, be the best version of yourself. Just be the best version of yourself. Whatever that means, be the best version of yourself.
Yeah. And yeah, learn from your mistakes and stuff. And my biggest thing is
don't get kicked in the nose during when someone's crowd surfing. You learn that one the first time. And,
I did. I learned that one. I did. I learned it the hard way, but I learned it.
You remember it,
I know
though.
when I'm pissed, I'm like, no. But yeah, one of the things is regrets. For me, regrets isn't a thing, and I'll tell you why. Because
I'll on that when you're done.
Regrets, because at one point it's exactly what you wanted. So you can't have a regret if it's what you wanted.
Right.
That's what I say.
And my thought on regrets is, guess what? That part of life is past you. So how you look back on it and how you let that affect today, it's probably only going to be a negative thing. So don't live for what happened in the past and be stuck in it. You did it. You made that decision. You chose to marry someone. You chose to hurt someone's feeling, whatever. What's the positive you can take out of that event or that incident and go forward? But to dwell on it, to live with, I don't have regrets. I've made stupid choices in my life, and those choices have affected my current life.
Yeah.
But I can't. Why would I regret doing it? Because it can't happen. Yeah.
I agree with that one. All right, so it's almost 8:30. I'm not going to keep you any longer because it's dark where you are.
Yeah.
So
more people are riding back on their bikes. I'm waiting for someone to stop me. We've been sitting there for 2 hours before I'm like,
All right, so now we're down to our last minute. Whoever doesn't have this book should get it. Body Man, it's amazing. And look, not only is it amazing, but you get Eric Bishop on the back.
I think that picture is a little airbrushed. I don't know if I like that picture.
You get Eric Bishop on the back of the Body Man.
I've aged since that picture. A couple of years, and I look a lot older.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to say goodbye to you before Instagram cuts us off again. Thank you for your time. Thanks, I appreciate it. I know your situation. Thank you for accommodating it. And we will definitely have to do this again. But in the meantime, thank you very much. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody stopping by, everybody commenting, watching, listening, all that. Body Man, you should read it. It's awesome. I promise. He doesn't disappoint. So thank you again, Eric.
Keep bringing guests on. Keep being you, though.
All right. I definitely will. I promise.
Take care.
All right. You too. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Bye.